Hello everybody and welcome to Hammerdown Motorsports, and today we have big boxes over here, some more new parts over there, because we're gonna fix this truck right here. So the first thing I always do is just kind of get everything out of the packaging, take a good look at it to make sure there's no dents, because you don't want to put this thing on and then notice that it's damaged or something like that, because with these bumpers, this is actually the first bumper I've gotten the first time that wasn't dented. So we're in luck. This is a genuine Ford bumper, so I always try to use genuine parts if I can, and we're going to do a really nice replacement of this damaged bumper. Okay, it looks like all this kind of got pushed in here, but luckily enough this didn't puncture the condenser, but you got a bit of a bow in it, so hopefully we're able to kind of push all this stuff back with our new bumper, and hopefully all that stuff's still going to be in good shape and we're not going to have to put more parts in that regard. But either way, we'll start getting this thing torn apart and get our new stuff put on. So welcome to the summer of 2017 in Pennsylvania, where it rains every single day. Well everybody, it is the next day. It is a little bit more sunny and nice and clear out, so hopefully we're going to have no rain and we can get this truck finished. Now what we've got here, correct part number, incorrect part. Somehow at Ford's warehouse where they packed this box, they put a Super Duty lower valence in, not one for an F-150. So now back over to the Ford dealership. Okay, we got the right part. I made sure to open the box and make sure the right one was in there this time. I think what happened is somebody may have repackaged something at some point and put the wrong part in that box and then ended up with the wrong thing. But this one was a factory sealed one and everything is the right stuff. So let's get back to tearing this thing apart. Okay, I just wanted to show real quick kind of how these little fender flares go in. There's studs right in the fender flare that go right through this plastic piece. And then you've got some bolts underneath. Now you can see there's two in there. So you undo those, and those are what connect this part to the fender, so you can get up inside the inner fender here and you're able to get those out. And then we've got some little push clips underneath here, and we're going to get those out right now, and hopefully we can start getting this black plastic piece off. Alright, we got most of the broken and bent stuff taken off. We got these little inner shells that kind of go on that black plastic piece. I just unclipped them. You can take these off and put them on as an assembly, but the way I took it apart, this is just kind of the way I did it. We do have some significant bends here, and we're going to have to use some hydraulics to get these pieces here bent back straight so we can get our bumper back in the right position. And it looks like we got a little bit of damage here on the trans cooler. Hopefully none of this is going to leak, but there's a very good possibility we might have to put a transmission cooler in this truck as well. And if you can see in behind here, it looks like it just touched the condenser and bent some of the fins, but it doesn't look like any of the cores are leaking. The air conditioning on this truck still works, so we might get lucky there, but if not, we might have to do a condenser as well. Oh yes, the summer of 2017. A lot like living in a rainforest. Well everybody, it is the morning after the huge storm that we had last night, and I was lucky enough to have two big trees fall down, so I'm going to show you guys the carnage. But first we're going to fire up the diesel here, because I'm going to have to use this one to tow one of those out of the driveway. One thing I love about Cummins, high idle. All right, got my chainsaw pants, got some shackles and slings, and this one I'm gonna have to take care of later, but I was actually gonna pay somebody to take this one down in the next month, so thanks, nature. So what I plan on doing, throwing a sling around this tree, dragging it back with a truck, and hopefully that top will snap off. If not, we're gonna have to think of something else. Well, for the Cummins, effortless. And just like that, the driveway is cleared. All right, we're gonna get back at this job here. We've got our new bumper, which they have some nice black coating inside, and obviously the factory one did not have that. It's kind of rusty. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take out all the bolts and all the hardware and stuff and swap it over to the new bumper. And we should be ready to go to put that truck back together once we get those plates straightened out. Okay, we got all of our accessories swapped over. I was able to reuse almost all the bolts, but there was a couple that were pretty rusty and whatever, so I put new ones in because I got all new bolts and new clips and everything anyway, so I'll just return what I don't need. But this is what it looks like. So once we get the bumper back on the truck, we will put the license plate bracket back on. There's actually no screws or anything. This kind of just hooks on and pops into the bottom valence. So put it on as a finishing touch. So besides the weather and the fact that we had trees falling down in the yard and all that good stuff, and this week has been pretty rough, we also needed to do a transmission cooler on this truck, because as soon as I took the pressure off the bent bumper, it started leaking all over the place as soon as I fired it up. So we have a cracked cooler, got a new one, not a big deal, but I had to wait 2 days for it. So we've pushed it all the way to Thursday already. So this is hopefully going to be the last day of this, but we might have some finishing touches to do on Friday. But let's go over and get that old oil cooler out. Okay, as you can see, I've already got my tool pretty much inserted to release the clip that holds this line in, because they kind of fool you here. It looks like you can get a wrench on here to kind of unscrew this, but actually there's a little plastic clip inside and this line just snaps inside. And this tool I actually bought from Mac Tools a few years ago for Ford cooler disconnects, because I knew I was going to run into something like this, and I've used this thing before. So just to keep that in mind, that isn't your standard tool that you can just buy at any tool store. But you can see it's all kind of wet along the bottom here. This whole corner is pushed in. I've actually kind of bent it out a little bit more, but as soon as this piece of the bracket went into that and pushed this whole thing back, caused a few problems for this cooler. It's lucky that the customer was able to actually drive this all the way home, because the pressure from this on there is actually keeping it from leaking. Okay, I ended up getting them out. These are the old ones here. They have a little nylon ring inside there. So basically what I did is I just kind of, this sits on there like that. I pushed the tool up inside and I was able to twist and pull on the fitting. I was able to get it to come loose. So these are the old ones. We get them out of the way. The new cooler comes with brand new ones. So we'll snap those into place and have a nice brand new seal. All right, our new cooler is in place, all tightened up. These are our lines. Just gonna give these a quick wipe. Sure we don't have any dirt or anything like that going into our new fitting. Now we just kind of line up the line, the fitting, and it snaps right up into place. Just give it a tug, push up and down a couple times, make sure it's fully seated. Same thing goes for this side. Okay, that's nice and tight. And that's our cooler install. Okay everybody, it is Friday. Hopefully this is going to be the last day of getting this truck done. We've had so many delays, but that's sometimes how these jobs go, but we only have to deal with the problems that are brought to us and then just go from there. So we've got our new cooler in. We just have to get our ram and straighten out these just a little bit more. This one's got pretty good. This one's going to need a little bit more work because the way the hitch went into this one kind of kinked it, but nothing we can't handle. We'll get those straightened out. And we're going to put a little bit more transmission oil in that. This is what this takes. It's Mohnton 5 from Ford. And we're going to top it off a little bit and drive it up to the house and be able to get this all finished up. So what we're going to use to straighten out these frame pieces is this Torn Big Red 4-ton kit. It does give you a ram that is short enough that you can get in behind and push out any kind of damage. So it's going to work hopefully very well, and you can get this on Amazon for about $100. All right, we got the pads pretty well straightened out. I got some paint on there and everything from where I had to bead on it. I didn't want it to rust later on, so everything's nicely rust protected. But yeah, if they would have bolted these things to the frame instead of welded them on, it would have been a whole lot easier to just replace both pads and have no problems at all. This job would have been a long time done. But thank you again, Ford, for making my life miserable. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to prep our top plastic painted piece. And this center support just comes loose when you buy one of these brand new. And it comes with the little push clips. So we're just going to put those in here. There's 4 of them. And we can start putting this thing back into place. All right, now that we got the bumper all back together here, and before I put the headlights in, I just kind of wanted to show everybody where all the bolts are on this thing so you don't have to fight with it if you're doing it for the first time. Now what we've got here, we've got 1 bolt there and 1 bolt there, and these go in from the bottom, and these connect this plastic piece into the fender. There's actually 1 here, and another one there. You can access all of these without any problems whatsoever. Now on the inside of the fender flare, there is 2 nuts, 1 here, 1 here. They just kind of poke through this plastic piece here, and those need to be removed when you're removing this plastic piece. And the only thing that really connects this plastic piece to the lower steel bumper are these 3 bolts up here, and this just kind of attaches this inner bumper piece to the lower steel bracket. Now to remove the chrome bumper on the bottom, all you need to do, there's a bolt on either side of the frame rail. There's a plate kind of on the frame rail, and there's a bolt on either side. I use a 13/16 socket. It was a little tight of a fit, but it did work. So we've got one of those on either side of each frame rail, and the lower bumper will come off no problem. So as far as the upper plastic piece, we have a few more bolts. We've got a couple up here, and there's a little clip kind of behind here that goes into this bracket. There's the 1 plastic bracket here. There's 2 bolts down inside here to remove, and this bracket will actually come with the entire assembly. Then you need to remove the 1 bolt here, and the release for your hood will come off. Just kind of set that off to the side, and the same process on the other side. And just make sure that you unhook your wiring for your fog lights if you have those, and that 1 little kind of push clip that holds the wire, just work that out of there, and all the wiring kind of comes off together. So all in all, not too bad of a job. It was a little time consuming. There's a lot of nuts and bolts, there's a lot of brackets and stuff like that, and this thing was pretty badly damaged. Seeing how the driver of this vehicle rear-ended somebody with a hitch, it really drove in that 1 plate on the frame here pretty badly, and it was a little bit of a pain to kind of get that one back where this bumper is going to fit correctly. But we got all our gaps set, everything looks pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and put our headlights back together, and we're going to get this thing washed up for the customer, and it should be all ready to go. Well everybody, we got her looking good again. Well, as good as a Ford can look, but I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Keep that hammer down.